Good afternoon, scholars. Welcome to your Tuesday, 6th grade Vista Virtual Lit class. Let's look at the numbers. Had a little dip from yesterday. I have a plan to try to get our turn-in rate up. Great job, the over half of you that are knocking out your work. I've got a ton of killer examples of student thinking to go over in a second. But again, if one of your friends, is having trouble with their internet, let us know. If they aren't doing their assignments, help your teachers out and give them a nudge, right? Because this is your schoolwork. You don't feel it, you don't know it, but you're getting smarter every single time you read a page. Every single time you're asked a question and you actually think deeply about it, your brain is developing and growing and just getting more efficient. So keep it up. Way to use the most of your time during these times where we have plenty of it. So keep it up. Let's look at some student work. Yesterday, we watched the first 8 minutes and 30 seconds of Brian Stevenson's video. And look at all this. Look at all these great examples. So let's go over what we did well, and then I'll address some common misconceptions that I saw that I can help clear up. So first, we're going to look at Elvia's work, just most of it, because Elvia, welcome to class. Elvia answered each question really thoroughly and really accurately. She said the character trait that Stevenson believes makes all people better is having a strong identity, like knowing who they are or what they're worth. A lot of people said compassion. That was a good answer too, because he did say that. He did mention that you could be a good doctor, but if you're compassionate, you can do even more. So that was good. What does Brian Stevenson do for a living? Elvia did a really good job, really explaining this in multiple sentences, really explaining what he does. She said that he tries to bring justice to people who were wrongfully accused of something, and he tries to change the death penalty. He attempts to make people realize that they're living the right identity they want. We're going to go over a lot more things today about what he's trying to get done. So pay close attention to that in the video. Here was one of the misconceptions, the question that asked what are some statistics he cites and why does he cite them? Statistics, guys, are facts. Usually numbers are statistics. So what numbers did he throw out there? He said that 2.3 million incarcerated people. There are 2.3 million people incarcerated when this video was made in 2012. He said 1/3 of black men are either in prison or on probation or parole or having gotten out of prison. And he said 34% of the black men in the state of Alabama can't vote. So he names he gives us all of these statistics, right? They're numbers so that you have an idea of a certain situation. Why would he give those statistics? Back to Elvie's answer, she says to show that the system is not fair with everyone and that people are making decisions based on biased thoughts. He wants us to know how bad things are to inspire us to learn more about it and change it. So then you were hit with this reflection question. And I knew this was going to be good. You hit this reflection question of just what stuck out to you. So let's look at some of our other scholars' responses. By the way, obviously, if you turned in your work today, you got your full Vista Virtual points. The students who anytime I show call a student, I'm going to add just an extra Vista Virtual point. So today we're going to have extra Vista Virtual points going out to Elvia, Isabella, Mirage, and Noemi, and my future lawyer, Israel Nunez. So what's some things that your scholars that made your classmates really think? Israel said something that made me think for like an hour straight was if 1 out of 9 planes crashed, we would have stopped using planes. But 1 out of 9 death row inmates are found innocent, yet we still have death row. My thoughts are that that's true. And if I put it to perspective, if we had, now Israel's doing some ratio work here, if we had 27 death row inmates, 3 people would be innocent. And the more inmates we have, the more innocent people are prosecuted. And we have around 2 million inmates. So the amount of innocent people must be huge. Yet we still don't do anything about it. We start to think it's not our problem. Israel, way to dive deep, man. That's some heavy some heavy thoughts to think about, right? And that's one of Brian Stevenson's main points in this TED talk is that um, if you watch the whole video, not the parts that I assigned, if you watch in between what I assigned yesterday and today, he does get into how important it is for people to think about heavy and sad things because that's part of our country too. We can't just ignore it. Israel's not ignoring it right now. He was really thinking about it for like an hour straight. Noemi's was great. Noemi, if Noemi and Israel in class, Noemi would have been going like this, and she would have built on because she said, when he said 1 out of 9 prisoners are not guilty, this made me think, why? Like why? like why execute them if you're not 100% sure they are guilty? For example, if they did a better job in analyzing their evidence that 1 person out of 9 wasn't guilty, one person out of 9 that wasn't guilty wouldn't have been executed, right? I'm always thinking about that lost life for no reason, for laziness, right? Or maybe worse. Mirage, the numbers jumped out to him. The fact that 7 million people are on probation and parole. He did a little numbers crunching, and he's like, that's basically the size of Arizona. So can you imagine how many people live in Arizona? Imagine every single person that you saw, that live in this state, they're all on parole, right? If you spread them out across the whole country. So I don't think he realized how many people are involved in this system. Isabella's was short and sweet. I'd like to be a little bit longer. Which is why she got a 2 out of 4. But she said that only something that made her think that only 13 states use the death penalty. She doesn't understand why we are one of those 13. And I think she was struck on teens that get sentenced to death, but she didn't really explain it. But I know you're on the right track, Isabella. Just make sure you finish up next time. All right, today we are we're going to watch another segment of the video. The minutes are included in your assignment instructions. We're picking up from right here. You can watch the in-between. I stopped you at 8:30. I pick you back up at 13:30. Feel free. In fact, I encourage you to watch the whole thing, but your questions are over these 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So the questions are from minute 13 and 30, and they stop at 16 and 50, but you should watch the whole thing. The first 2 questions are just detail, making sure you're following along. What does Stevenson challenge Americans to pay attention to in order to be fully human? That's in quotes, obviously, because it must be his words. And then he talks about a conversation and a relationship he had with Rosa Parks when she was still alive. And why did Rosa Parks tell Brian that he's going to be tired? Stevenson states this big idea in this article, in this clip, where he says, I believe that each of us is more than the worst thing we've ever done. I think if somebody tells a lie, they're not just a liar. I think if somebody takes something that doesn't belong to them, they're not just a thief. I think even if you kill someone, you're not just a killer. I want to know what your thoughts are on that. To what extent do you agree with that quote, and why? As evidence, your evidence, guys, is going to be coming up with examples that you have from, just from your own brain. Okay, so you still need examples. Use the examples that you think of as evidence, and then provide analysis. Okay, this question is a to what extent question. It's not just agree or disagree. It's how much do you agree? And you got a lot of different options here, okay? So I don't want you to think this is one side or the other, okay? I'll give you an example what I'm talking about. So if I had a claim that tacos are the greatest food on the planet. Okay? To what extent do I agree? Am I all the way over here? Do I 100% agree that tacos are the best food on the planet? Or do I 100% disagree? Okay? Most of us are going to fall somewhere in between here. Okay? And here's my push for the day, and I'll give you an example of how to do it. My push for the day is for wherever you land in how much you agree or disagree, to what extent you agree, you need to provide evidence and analysis for both your claim and a counterclaim. Here's what I mean by that. Using the taco example. If I kind of mostly agree that tacos are the greatest food on the planet, maybe I'm like right here. I'm more towards the agree, but I'm not all the way there. So my claim would be that I mostly agree with the statement that tacos are the greatest food on the planet. Now, what evidence do I have? I eat tacos at least 5 times a week. I never get sick of them, right? So my claim is I mostly agree. I just provided an example of why I mostly agree, because I eat them all the time and I crave them all the time. I could eat them for lunch and I could eat them from dinner and I could eat them for breakfast the next day, right? Those are examples that I'm giving to prove my point. Now, my counterclaim is that other part, the reason I'm not fully there. Why am I mostly to agree, but not all the way there? Because I kind of disagree, because I also love sushi. And if I'm gonna like go out and spend like money on a fancy dinner, I'm not gonna go to a taco place. I'm gonna go, maybe I'm gonna get Chinese food, maybe I'm gonna go get sushi, maybe I'm gonna go get a steak. So I mostly agree that they're the greatest food, but my counterclaim is, but there are other really great foods too that if I had to choose on like a night out, I would pick over tacos. Okay? All right. Now, how would you do that and if it was flipped, if I 100% disagreed, I would explain how disgusting I think tacos are, and then I would name all the other foods that are better than tacos, right? But I'm providing, multiple pieces of evidence. And someone is ringing my doorbell. All right, so let's look at Jersey. All right, so how would you apply that to Brian Stevenson's claim? He made the claim that people are more than the worst thing they've ever done, right? Well, maybe you mostly agree with that statement, and you give examples of little things that people have done that they should be forgiven for, right? But maybe you're not all the way there, because like, what about Hitler? What about people who have done truly, truly horrible things? Is Hitler more than just the person who caused the Holocaust? I don't know. That's kind of a big thing that he did. So maybe, but I have to provide examples of why I mostly agree, and then maybe an example of why I don't fully agree. That's the counterclaim. Maybe you mostly disagree. And you're going to say, no, I don't think so. I think that I mostly disagree with this statement. I think that people's actions do show who they are. However, I do know that sometimes people make mistakes, right? So you're going to provide reasons and analysis for why you mostly, and then also reasons for why you're not fully there. That's the counterclaim. If you are 50-50, that's totally fine. Because if you ask to what extent, and that's how you feel, you can say that. So you can say, I am completely, I'm on the fence about this, or I neither agree nor disagree with this statement. Then you're going to provide reasons for why you do kind of agree with it, and the reasons why you disagree, why you're stuck. All right. So to what extent isn't just I agree or disagree, it's how much do you agree or disagree. Okay. That was a lengthy explanation. I hope it was helpful. To we're going to take a pause. This is today's assignment. We're going to take a pause tomorrow. I want to get everybody caught up on Act 1 if they joined class late. So in virtual office hours today, I hope you'll join because you're going to start to watch Act 1 of the movie version of 12 Angry Men. This is just going to help you get a picture in your mind. I know that everyone has their own mental movie about what these characters look like and their voices, and this is going to be a cool chance for you to compare the mental movie that's been playing in your mind with um, the actual movie so that you can kind of compare and contrast, so it's always fun to obviously it's a great movie because it's word for word the same as the play. So log into office hours today and we're going to be watching that movie, and then tomorrow I'll also be providing a link so that your assignment is just going to be to get caught up on Act 1 and get a refresher on who the main characters are and just what's going on. All right, so be on the lookout for that link in that assignment tomorrow. Log into the office hours today to start to watch Act 1 together and discuss it. And that'll get you your Vista Virtual points. All right, you guys have a great day. I will see you a little bit tomorrow.